Paul, we're a few days on from the Golf Fest at the Crowd Meadow on Tuesday night. Have you got any other further reflections from the evening now you've had time to think about it?
I think a bit just what it was in terms of a game of two halves, in terms of performance, and just some of the data that we get from the GPS just suggested that we actually ran less second half. However, that's sort of there's an explanation for that in terms of the sprint distance was up considerably, so therefore it basically says you make that initial effort to close down, to make forward runs, and then it saves you a lot of the other running that you need to do. So it fits in terms of what we kind of all saw. I think I don't think you have to be a genius, whether it's you don't have to be a head coach, you don't have to be on the coaching staff. The fans will have seen that with their own eyes as well, in terms of getting close to people and having more intent in our closing down. That was a big part of the success that we had second half. Yes, we were better on the ball, but it was because we probably got more of it back. We didn't let them get in a rhythm like they had been in that first half. So pleased that we got a reaction. Shows what the players are capable of. Just hope that we don't have to go through 45 minutes each week before we get that reaction and put things right.
Do you think it was a bit of maybe a lack of confidence after potentially a difficult result at Stevenage, that perhaps a bit of apprehension about what might be to come?
I want to say no. Kind of spoke about that a little bit prior to the game and at half time, as in don't give me any confidence sort of shouts or excuses, because we're only a game in. And obviously for me that's not a stage excuse me, when you're going to talk about losing confidence. There's not enough game time there or there shouldn't be. If it is anything like that, then in all honesty that would be a little bit of a concern, as in the sort of brittleness of people's mentality if they're already in that place. So I really hope not. I think it was just we started off okay on the ball. The early goal perhaps knocked to the players, and I think they had a chance, and we did a couple of things self-inflicted, which I think caused a few groans from the crowd, and maybe the lads getting used to that again. And again, that's not a criticism of the fans. I get it. I understand why there were those reactions a couple of times. But you've got to be able to deal with that, and ultimately that first half, for quite a bit of it, we were too deep. We didn't close down with intent, but also because we were very spread as a team, we were never really connected. Second half, as I said, we were a lot better on that side of it.
And league action returns to Shropshire after a bit of a break.
Yeah,
there's a good atmosphere in the second half, wasn't there, on Tuesday evening? You'll need that again against Peterborough tomorrow, because they're a good side, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I know people say, well, they've lost both their games, but two really tough games, and obviously watch those and watch them play pre-season. Still very much a Peterborough side. They've got that identity. I think Darren had said going into the season that yes, they've lost some players, they've also brought some in, but they won't change the way that they go about it. Always have an array of attacking talent, and they've still very much got that. Got a couple of injuries that they're having to contend with. I think it's only fair to reference that, but at the same time, most teams do, whether it's now, whether it's during the season, and that's part of your season, is how you deal with that. But they're still a good side, good footballing team. Similar-ish in a little way of Notts County, how they want to try and get on the ball, dominate possession, and like I said, those attacking players are a real threat, so we've got to be on his toes. And in terms of the fans, touched on it after the game the other night, while it wasn't the biggest attendance, I thought they made a lot of noise and really got behind the team, and I expect that to be improved further tomorrow with a bigger crowd, early kick-off, and like I said, that first home league game, so looking forward to it, and I think players that haven't witnessed it before will be exactly the same.
Shows the variety, I suppose, in League One, doesn't it? If you're comparing the first away game to the first home game. Obviously a very physical kind of game last week compared to probably a game that, like you say, will be more kind of possession based this weekend.
I would imagine so, but at the same time, we've got to, certainly for ourselves, we've got to be good out of possession first and foremost. I think to have any chance in the game, that's where for me that starts. I think that's when we're going to be at its best, and that might sound negative. I promise you it's not. It's just the fact of we had to be careful again the other night. Maybe a lack of understanding or bad decision making of wanting to be a little bit more expansive, but we picked the wrong times, certainly on certain occasions, because we then lost the ball and were far too wide open to be broke on. Peterborough have 100% got the players to exploit that. Something we spoke about, I think, in transition. They're very good, very quick, and create chances. They did that against Huddersfield last week, although I think they lost the game. They had the chances they did midweek as well, and that's against two good teams. So we know we're going to have to be focused, and the old, I think, adage of when you're attacking, you're defending, it really comes into play tomorrow.
I don't know whether you've heard, but Posh's chairman, Darren McAnthony, was very complimentary of Shrewsbury's chairman, Roland Wycherley, this week, describing the club as very well run. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
I think he's a good guy. I'm going to say that. I've spoke numerous times about the relationship that I have with him. I know the pride that he takes in running the football club and trying to run it the best he can. I think the last couple of seasons in particular have been really difficult for him because of things that have gone on. But I also know there's still a hell of a lot of pride in the football club, the area, and he's proud to be associated with the football club. So I would, I guess, echo those words. Realistically, I'm not sure of that relationship overall, but it's nice that people recognise that, because when you are the owner of any football club, and we're obviously talking about Shrewsbury Town, you do get a lot of criticism. Unfortunately, it goes with that role, and there's always something to complain about. I think the first time I was here, it was about the toilets, and thankfully that went by. But there's always something that people, you can never please everyone, unfortunately. But I do think there's a lot of people out there that realise and understand, what a sort of commitment the chairman's provided over many years to this football club. And like I said, for myself, that relationship is very strong, and I know that it hurts him when things don't go the way that we all want it to. So yeah, trust me, he's got the club's best interest at heart.
How's the squad shaping up after Tuesday night? Is there any fresh injury concerns?
No, all good. So just Josh Feeney and George Nurse remain out of the squad. Other than that, a fully fit squad.
And where is George Nurse on his rehab? We thought he might have been close last week. He hasn't been involved. And where's he at?
No, I think said it's taking a little bit longer than we envisaged, but he's been out on the grass today, individually, not with the group, but doing some work with Skitty, and providing there's no reaction, he'll do something else tomorrow, and then Monday we penciled him in to train with the group again. So barring any, like I said, new setback, he should be back training with the group on Monday, which will obviously be a plus for ourselves and for George himself.